Hello there, my fellow Cybertronians. This is Mega Ginger, the Ginger Transformer podcast. There has been no unboxing videos. You haven't missed anything. Nothing's came yet, unfortunately. So that's just going to be like a random video with me talking random Transformer stuff. So anyway, I was thinking, right, X-Men '97 is a great show. Bear with me. This is Transformers related. It takes off right after the other series, but obviously about 20 years later. Now that got me thinking. The success of that, why can't we have like series of the Transformers G1 set in between the years 1986 and 2005? Because if you think about it, season one was 84, 85, season two was 85 to 86. Then you get this massive jump. Fair enough, it's only next year the movie came out, but you get this massive, like 20, nearly 20-year jump. And for some reason, this is never addressed. Take that back. Dreamwave Comics tried to address it through their series of comics, which I didn't think was all that bad. I've definitely read worse, but it leaves a lot of things unanswered. Like, for example, where the hell did Cybertron acquire two moons? Could be an interesting two, maybe even three-parter as to how they suddenly got moons, when for like two whole seasons we didn't see any. I mean, Cybertron was moved into Earth's orbit at one point. You think the moons would have came with it if they were there. So where did these come from? Did the Autobots themselves build it? Is there some sort of extra dimensional stuff? Maybe they're moons from an alternate Cybertron brought to our universe? Or questions like, where the hell did Autobot City come from? Obviously, it was built by the Autobots, but it went from season two to it was there in the movie. Built, ready to go, and defend against the Decepticons. I would have liked to have seen some progress on that, like in a TV show, like a series set in between, because obviously Scramble City showed at the very least the construction of Metroplex. There was a one-off Japanese episode, Scramble City, and it shows the construction of Metroplex, kind of like at the end of his construction, to help the Autobots fight the Decepticons. But it didn't really show you actually Autobot City proper being built, because Autobot City is a lot bigger. You can actually see it. I think it's the episode, season 3 episode Thief in the Night. You can see that Metroplex is like a sub part of Autobot City itself, which is saying something given the size of Metroplex. How big's Autobot City? It must be freaking huge. But, I would like to see what was led up to that. Why did the Autobots suddenly decide they needed a secondary base on Earth? They already had the Ark. They had all that space in the volcano to obviously build up. As seen in the Five Faces of Darkness Part 5, you see that at the very least the defences have been upgraded. They didn't help against Tripticon, but before Tripticon, that would have held off most, if not all, Decepticon assaults on the volcano. So, it would be nice to see that. When did we suddenly start seeing these newer characters? I mean, Optimus Prime's not on Earth. There's Jazz, Cliff Jumper, Bumblebee. Not on Earth, we have all these other Autobots you only get introduced to into the movie. Ultra Magnus, Hot Rod, Cup, Blur, Springer, RC, Then what happened to the season 2 Autobot females, Elita 1, Chromia, Moonracer, all those ones. Was RC part of that squad and then transferred to Earth? Given everything we have now, like all this information from seasons 3 and 4, it could even have cameos of these characters from season 3 and 4 in these earlier seasons, like just kind of introducing them before they're introduced, if you know what I mean. Obviously not like Tripticon, because he was built at the start of season 3. Not Sandstorm either. He was on Paradron, basically keeping it timeline specific. There would be no Fortress Maximus, there would be no Scorponok. If we saw any Headmaster or Target Master, Autobots or Decepticons, these would be without their Headmaster or Target Master partners. Highbrow's head would stay on, the same with hard heads, or Point Blank and Crosshair's weapons wouldn't transform into little people. But it makes you think, if it was that successful with the X-Men after 20 years, I mean, there's still a good few Generation 1 voice actors kicking about. You could easily get them back into the roles, but introduce other Autobots and Decepticons as well. For example, the Throttlebots rarely have any speaking lines. You could easily have them in one or more of these episodes and just get a voice actor and just say, listen, try to make it sound kind of like what they sounded like in the few lines they got in season 4, and just build on it from there. Swerve and Tailgate never got any lines at all. That's just throw someone in, give us what you got. Works for Decepticons too. You don't hear a lot of dialogue from Wingspan, Pounce, Six Shot. You hear them say one line. Give the guy lines, give the guy a lot of stuff that makes you go, yeah, when you see him in season 4, instead of just, oh, cool, a random six changer. and other Autobots, Insecticons who weren't even part of it but were like in the comics. For example, the Wreckers. I would love to see the Wreckers, maybe not permanently on Earth or in the show. Maybe like in the Clone Wars, they have the Bad Batch who turn up occasionally. They eventually get their own series, fair enough. But the Wreckers turn up occasionally, help the Autobots out of a really bad scrape, either on Cybertron or on Earth or some other places. There's plenty of places for them to go and explore. I mean, in season 2, we got there's a planet. Basically, it was a lost colony of Autobots, and they all killed off by cosmic rust. It was the episode Cosmic Rust. There you go. You can look it up. That's a lost Autobot colony. I would like to explore that more. Were there any other lost Autobot colonies? Are there lost Decepticon colonies? You could even merge it, a bit with some of the Japanese continuity stuff. Occasionally, if Starsaber or Deathsaurus show up in a panel or two. I mean, it could be fun, could work. And because a lot of the characters, it was obviously, in Japanese, it gives you once again free reign for voice acting. You don't have to have everyone who's in season 1 and 2. You could throw people in. And you got your Sparkle Bots, you got the Firecons, all these others who were just in comic on toy form. You could bring them in with for the help of construction of Autobot City, or just for some sort of final offensive on Cybertron that wins the Decepticons the planet like completely. By 2005, it is under Decepticon control, completely under Decepticon control, and that's why the Autobots on the 2 moons. But I think maybe 5 seasons every few years after 86, like 90, 94, 98, you're just kind of working your way up. It would be interesting. I mean, we don't have to have a series for every year. That'd be like an extra like 19, 20 seasons. I mean, I'd be all for that, but nothing lasts that long these days, unless it's The Simpsons. It would be my hope that would happen, that we would be able to get something in the way of extra seasons, because, it would fill a few questions. Like, where's Unicron been this entire time, If he hates the Cybertronians so much, shouldn't he have been around more? The way we could see something like adapted from one of the Dreamwave comics, showing that it turns out it was Shockwave's master plan to re-empower Unicron and start him on his galactic killing spree again. I don't know. It would be nice to see some of those comics adapted, because Dreamwave didn't really get much of a run. It would have to give up on the constant killing of characters well before the time. I mean, at the end of their first arc, it blew up the aerial bots. I don't know if they were planning on rectifying that somehow. I mean, the aerial bots were hit with a nuke. Superior was hit with a nuke. They were vaporized. But if they were able to fix that, or maybe that bit didn't happen, like maybe, I don't know, Superior grabs the nuke and floofs it into space. Adapting some of their ideas could be interesting. That's all I have to really say on that. I just think it would be good to have a few extra seasons, bring in some original voice actors. Basically do what they did with X-Ray 97, original voice actors mixed in with new voice actors. New characters getting brought in as well, A few questions answered, a few things explained. I mean, here's one. Where the hell did the Matrix come from? One day it wasn't there, never mentioned at all. And the next, it's like the focal point of basically most of season 3. Well, the movie and season 3, and technically season 4, even though it was just the shell in the Matrix. But you get the gist. Lots of things that can be answered, lots of stories. I've not seen them make them ongoing seasons. Like episode 1 runs into 2, runs into 3, runs into 4, runs into the end of season, basically. Have individual stories in there, because that just seasons that just run. It's one big long story. That annoys the hell out of me. I don't know about anyone else, but it really does. It would be interesting, making sure that they had it in the kind of G1 art style as well. Maybe not as crap as the original. Make it in that style. Just don't fuck things up. As much as they did back in the day, especially in season 3. But it would give them a chance for some improvement, to explain a few things they need explained, to introduce some new characters that just kind of, I don't know, get killed off before the movie, or they disappear before the movie and they were never heard of again. So so it ties things up. Canon, very important. But yeah, that's the only little rant I've got on that. I would like to see a few seasons in between. What are your thoughts on that? Second thing, I saw a review. Can't remember who did it. It was on YouTube, and it was a review of one of the new Transformer games. It's not what I thought it was going to be. I mean, it's a game for mobile. It's a newer game. It's still at this point, it is not available in the UK. But there was someone who's doing the beta testing. He's tested out a few things. He went over a few things in the video. Honestly, like I said, it wasn't what I was expecting. I was expecting something. It says it's like goes G1-esque, and it gives you missions, doing this and the next thing. I thought it was going to be more like a command and conquer kind of based game, but it isn't. It looks more Like I don't know, you got like you got five troops and they run ahead and they beat whatever troops come up against them. Then they'll run ahead again and repeat and repeat. I'm sorry, to me that would get so fucking boring. I wouldn't want to play that game. I was in beta testing phase, so there are no. Well, sorry, there's not a lot of characters as of yet because it's beta testing. I personally would like to see a different sort of Transformer game. Now we have Earth Wars, and I like Earth Wars. Reactivate, die to death. So I'm not even going to mention that. But a Command and Conquer style game. You build your base. You have your like fodder units. Let's face it, from all the seasons of Transformers, there were plenty of fodder units from various episodes. There's a season 2 episode, War Dawn. I've referenced this episode before a few times, I think, but it shows that some of Megatron's basic Decepticon troopers, ones that were basically, they looked like energon cubes, but it turns out no, they were actually little troopers. Vehicles carrying them also transformed into Decepticon troopers, and you could take it from anywhere. I mean, we have like G1 auto troopers, they'd be good in a fight, and you can mass produce, and let's face it, you could have your normal Auto and Decepticon teams, but they'd be like hero figures, heroic figures you don't want to die on the battlefield. And you could set it between the very first episode and all the way through into season 4. Hell, even give it the option of having Metroplex and Tripticon and eventually, as part of your base that can transform into something bigger than just start stomping towards the enemy base. It would be a nice thing. I like Command and Conquer type games. And none of this first person shooter or whatever it is stuff. It's just you've got a gun in the hand, like and that's it. You're going around just shooting people. No, I need my games to have a bit of a strategy. Like long term strategy, not just okay, he's over there. How do I kill him quickly? I need games where you have your base, you build up, you've got your objectives. Don't let this one die, kill that guy over there. But set out a big frigging map. Like Command and Conquer style. If you played the games, you know what I'm talking about. If you've not played them, download them and play them. They're great. Yeah, stuff like that. That would be a game like that would be really good. You could explore so much. I mean, let's face it, right? Transformers Earth Wars has already given us so many buildings. Like you could build your headquarters and defenses, your research labs, your communications arrays. Use them. People who do Transformers Earth Wars. If anyone for some reason is watching this, do it. You've got what needs to be done. You've got like literally hundreds of Transformer templates you use for your own game. Put them in. You've got building templates. Put them in. Just make an interesting, worthwhile game. I'm not saying the Transformers Earth Wars isn't interesting, worthwhile, but it's not a Command and Conquer type game. It's you hit them, you kill them, it's done. To be fair, yeah, I like the game, but I need something that's going to occupy me for more than like 10 minutes before I get bored. I mean, these days I actually periodically come off the game for like a year just to see if when I go back on it, anything interesting changes, if we've got any new interesting characters, if there's been any updates. But I don't like doing that. I don't like spending like all that time playing it. I get bored, and then I'm waiting a year. I diss it for a year. I'm not going back onto it now. I've stopped, so I won't be going back onto it now for until like 2026. Some point. I still have a few pictures that I can post, screenshots of characters in it on the Instagram page, but that's not going to happen again. So pictures, I'm not just only going to re-download the game again just because I need some screenshots. Because I'm not going to lie, it's all the Decepticon screenshots I put on. That particular game I finished playing years ago. I went on a mobile, downloaded it, and did the Autobots. So now if I was to do that again, it would be Autobot pictures you're going to get on the Instagram page. But yeah, like a Command and Conquer style game, it would be fun. I mean, just the fog of war, and all of a sudden you've like Megatron leading a shit ton of like cannon fodder troops towards your defenses. You'd have like maybe like some hero units get up on defenses and to start railing people and gunning people down. Your objectives could be as simple as stop them raiding a human outpost for Energon to try to stop the Decepticons getting back to Cybertron, that kind of stuff. Plenty of TV episodes from G1 to take your missions from. Give us a bit of proper nostalgia. It would be nice. I mean, I can't say what Reactivate was. I hadn't heard of Reactivate until, quite frankly, it was cancelled. So I don't know what kind of game that was going to be. But we've had other games. Transformers Devastation. I've not played that one, but it looks good. It's G1 focus, that. But and for some reason, it brings in Nova Prime, the IDW looking one. But yeah, give us some TV shows set between season 2 and the movie, and give us a decent fucking game. No, whatever the hell other crap's coming out. Command and Conquer style. Set up your own mechanics, but base it on that and go from there. Hell, I don't even care if that's on a mobile. You put it in a PC. I'm a PC gamer. Make it a PC game. I'll buy it. I'll buy whatever add-ons you're going to put on it as well. Because let's face it, these days you cannot just get a full game. You've always got this extension or that extension or an add-on here and an add-on there. Again, that's spending like 100 quid on a game that was originally like 20. I know what I'm talking about. I play Stellaris, and the amount of add-ons and extensions and all that you get for it. I've purchased about eight plus the original game. You're talking well over 100 quid. One last thing, tariffs. I know a few videos ago I was moaning about the tariffs. Turns out toy prices are not going to suddenly just skyrocket. At least not just now. They could go up tomorrow, and this bit's completely useless at the end of the video. But as of now, toy prices don't seem to be going up any, so I personally am happy about that. But we'll see how it goes. Yeah, but I mean, drop in the comments. Would you like to see like some in between series to explain certain things, to have the possibility of adding some new characters that would have to just inexplicably disappear before the movie? And would you like a proper Transformer game in the Command and Conquer style? I mean, that could just be me. It's because I like those type of games. Drop a comment. Give me your thoughts on it. What kind of game? What kind of game would you like? What kind of game Transformers game would you like to build? If you had the chance. Just a little bit of back and forth, bit of communication. But keep it respectable-ish. Don't say yeah. I'd have like a GTA styled game where Optimus Prime just walks up to Alita, fucking smacks a hole and bends her over inside the Ultra Magnus or something. Nah, slightly respectable. On that note, roll out my fellow Cybertronians. Stay safe, and I'll see you next time.